Stugotz here. You may have heard me talk about Hotel Tonight over the past few weeks, and if you haven't downloaded the app yet, what are you waiting for? It is fantastic. Hotel Tonight partners with great hotels to get you incredible deals for tonight, tomorrow, and beyond. That's right. Don't be fooled by the name. It's not just for tonight. You got to get the app, guys. I'm telling you, you can wait until the last minute and still score a crazy good deal at a super cool hotel, or you can actually book in advance if you're more of a planner. It is Hotel Tonight, and they are fantastic. It's just an app, not a website, so download the app today. Again, not a website, just an app, so download the Hotel Tonight app and start booking better deals at better hotels now. Again, they partner with some of the best hotels and get you crazy good deals at a super cool hotel. You can do it the day of. Download the Hotel Tonight app. Start booking better deals at better hotels right now. Something better just came along. Hotel Tonight.
This is the best of the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz podcast.
It is Draft Trey Wingo, Mel Kiper, Trey Wingo, Mel Kiper, Trey Wingo, Mel Kiper, Trey Wingo, Mel Kiper, Trey Wingo, Kirk Herbstreit, Lou Riddick, Kirk Herbstreit, Lou Riddick, Kirk Herbstreit, Lou Riddick, Kirk Herbstreit, Lou Riddick, Sam Darnold, Josh Rosen, Sam Darnold, Josh Rosen, Sam Darnold, Josh Rosen, Sam Darnold, Josh Rosen.
Why not Lamar? Let's update the polls from yesterday, Stugotz. Why no Lamar in there? Man, oh, man.
Lamar Jackson.
Wait a minute.
Doesn't work the same way.
Yeah, it doesn't flow, man. It doesn't flow.
Did you guys literally only name white people around the draft?
No, we had Lou Riddick.
Lou Riddick. Okay.
Your face.
Never mind.
You didn't say Baker Mayfield, right? Hey, here you go, Baker. Yeah.
It's always race with this guy.
Yeah, always is. It's just a cheer, man. It's draft day.
Oh, Stephen A. sleeves are rolled up.
Oh, man. Everyone is all about business today.
Oh, boy.
Yes.
Boy. I look in my eyes and you'll see a fire that matches the intensity of 10,000 suns.
Wow.
That's why
Wow.
it's red.
God.
Mike, turn up Stephen A. because he's got his sleeves rolled up and he's talking draft, and it says in the corner, countdown to draft, 9 hours, 57 minutes,
made that
2
kind
seconds.
of mistake, but he said it is a mistake. People who know him know
we're doing
what
Josh
he's made of.
Josh Allen
stuff. Yeah, I don't want that. I didn't know Stephen A. had forearms.
Josh Allen.
He looks like he does shoulders.
Yeah, definitely does
Some
shoulders.
traps.
Yeah, definitely.
Shoulder day.
Definitely.
That's
Guillermo.
the second most days skipped.
Shoulder.
Yeah, behind leg day.
Put it on the poll, Guillermo, at Le Batard Show. Does Stephen A. Smith have weightlifting shoulders? That's what I think Mike is alleging. I've never heard it alleged.
His shoulders
before.
are so broad because he's been carrying this company.
The network, carrying the entire network, all of Disney. So OKC comes back from 25 down last night. We still got to get to the Kanye and Andy Roddick beef. We've got LeBron hitting a great game winner at the end. We've got Mike Francesa, after getting 18 months of send-off, crawling back to the microphone in minutes. We've got Josh Rosen saying things. I'm here. You've got me. Before we get to these polls from yesterday that we forgot to update.
Mm-hmm.
You've got me mildly interested in this draft for one reason and one reason only.
What's that?
We might have the first bleep hole draft pick quarterback who's actually good and acts as quarterback of a great position and great team as a bleep hole, and it might be Baker Mayfield and it might be Josh Rosen, but the millennials are coming and they're doing it the way the young people in the NBA do it, where Baker Mayfield is on Twitter and he's recreating the Brett Favre draft day photo. He's fooling around with social media before the draft.
So dope.
And then Josh Rosen is doing this because he's Aaron Rodgers, except he thinks he's smarter and better than Aaron Rodgers.
I pay attention to media just to kind of be aware and have like a grip on reality, but I'm not really reading into articles and whatnot because I don't really care about that stuff. I mean, if these people actually knew as much as they said they did, they would actually have a job with an NFL team.
Oh, man.
His tone is so bad.
Guy. I want that guy, man. I want him. I want him to be my quarterback, man.
Well, that will not make him succeed. I want him to go to a good team. I want him to go to a good team
and the Browns or the Jets
and
man.
have success. No, but that's why I want him to fall in the draft because he's too smart.
Yeah.
Because who's the biggest bleep hole we have right now at quarterback? Is it Jay Cutler? Is it Phillip Rivers?
Jay Cutler.
Jay Cutler. Well, yeah.
Well, it demonstrates a behavior.
But Jay Cutler doesn't do that verbally. Like, he doesn't really.
Sometimes.
That's just his
at
face.
a urinal.
It's just
sometimes at a urinal he does.
He just gives you the middle finger, I mean.
No, I know, but Rosen is doing that in interviews. It's not a urinal and it's not a middle finger in private. Like, my father likes doing this to police officers. My father will pull up at a stoplight, and there will be police officers that are monitoring his speeding and whatnot, and he will shoot them a middle finger, but he will keep it under the door so nobody can see it.
That's a play.
That's a good play.
OG.
Yeah, Eddie play. Yeah.
But that is not. Josh Rosen will stick his finger out the window. And so will Mayfield.
Mayfield will stick his bleep out the window.
No, he'll grab it, and then he'll run away from the cops, and they'll catch him. But that's what we need. We need one of these guys to be drafted high, be successful, and be a bleep hole. Because I want the quarterback. I wanted Johnny Manziel to succeed.
Maybe you get two.
I hope so.
You get two.
So
maybe the Browns will draft both of them.
Probably. Or one of them twice. So let's update the polls from yesterday because we never got to any of them. At Le Batard Show, we enjoy the polls around here. They tell you what it is we were talking about over the course of the day.
Are koi fish Hassan Whiteside's only friends? 95% of the audience said yes.
Wow.
Does playing intense defense make you age faster than the rest of humans? 86% of the audience said yes.
Who was it that you claimed, Mike, aged fast?
Covington, yeah.
Covington. But it could have also been the first couple of years of the process.
Yep. If the Spurs offer you Kawhi, should the Heat just offer their entire roster? 90% of the audience said yes. Are cats dirty killers? 89% of the audience said yes. If a beloved family member took out your eye or your spouse's eye, would you ever speak to them again? 82% of the audience said no. Did you know that Stugotz's dead cat was named after former Islanders goalie Billy Smith? 89% of the audience said no. Did Kevin Hart look like something that would be hanging from Joel Embiid's keychain?
The 11% that did know that.
Yeah, you've really stuck with this show, and thank you for that. I've only told that story once. By the way, that cat was hanging from my eye. There was a cat hanging from my eye in college. Almost took out my eyeball. Yeah, got a bad skin disease, everything. Anyway, 96% of the audience did say that Kevin Hart looks like something that would be hanging from Joel Embiid's keychain. Funny. Are those still around? Is that the rabbit's foot?
Rabbit's feet.
Yeah. Good memory.
Did we ever find anything about the rabbit's feet? Did we ever find?
Yeah, no, we found a bunch of facts. It had to be chopped off in
no, but how is the business
way,
is the rabbit's foot keychain industry flourishing is the question we were asking. We were also asking yesterday the dollar to donuts. When you bet dollar to donuts, what the hell does that mean?
I'm on it. 58% of the audience said no, they're not still around. They are.
And flourishing, according to Stugotz yesterday when he read the internet.
Yep. Yeah. Do you think of Paul Soliai as a Falcon or not at all?
My favorite poll from yesterday.
He is retiring he's retiring a one-day contract with the Miami Dolphins. Stugotz was railing against the idea that Paul Soliai would deserve the honor of a one-day contract from the Miami Dolphins. And so the question was,
do you think of Paul Soliai as a Falcon or not at all? 90% of the audience said not at all.
Why would you be thinking about Paul Soliai?
Is Mel Kiper at twice the speed straight up cocaine? Like, yeah, a little sample?
He'll find it.
All right, 93% of the audience said yes.
We'll circle
straight
back
up
around.
cocaine.
So that's so resolute, Todd. And I would have been so resolute when Josh Allen, if I heard Sam Darnold was number one. I'll move Sam Darnold in there. So, just as soon as we heard something different, you adjust to that. You heard Josh Allen 2 weeks ago. People were adjusting Josh Allen. Even in Vegas, the odds changed dramatically when Josh Allen, because they were hearing that same buzz. And now you hear a little buzz when like somebody knows. I've known John Dorsey longer than any of you guys. And he ain't telling me. So if he ain't telling me, now maybe somebody in the organization is leaking out what they think. But it ain't coming from Dorsey. So, so who knows? If it's Darnold, then we put Darnold 1, and then we find a spot for Josh. If Josh Allen's going 1, we have Darnold probably 2 or 3.
Are you done talking yet? There's like 5 minutes into the show.
I'm a minute and a half into the show. My clock says 2 minutes and 5 seconds right now.
It's been a long minute and a half.
Yeah. Go ahead. Give me 5 minutes of your expertise.
93% of our audience said yes, that's cocaine. Should a punter ever get an honorary one-day contract? Brandon Fields getting one from the Dolphins. 62% of the audience said no. A's or Braves? 53% of the audience said A's.
Really?
Ooh. Yeah, that's bad news for John Dorsey, who's 85% Braves.
No doubt. Was Brandon Fields the punter for a generation? 56% of the audience said no.
Really?
Yeah.
Thought he was.
Are you more comfortable hearing from Frank Isola than, how do you say his name, Dan? Ta-Nehisi Coates on race relations in this country? 56% of the audience said no. They are not comfortable hearing from the Iceman. Do you want me to give you early results on today's, or are we good?
No, but I did find interesting, Mike, for the first time, I think, since we've started the show on or off air, Stugotz actually wanted to talk race before the show started today. He was in here talking race, and the way he was talking race was somehow even dumber than the way that ESPN, Yahoo, and everyone else in the draft is talking race today, which is going through the high school or before account of Josh Allen. It might be before high school.
I think some of it was before. That LeBron tweet was before high school.
So we're going through the Twitter account of an 8th grader or a high school kid to make his draft status fall for content on draft day. It might be even dumber than that in terms of race talk. Stugotz is saying that the NBA has never been whiter than it is today. That star players are, and Mike pointed out to him during the break, well, there was that whole time when it was only white, right? And Stugotz seems to have forgotten about all that.
I meant since then.
It just dawned on, amazingly, Stugotz has
post-merger, Dan.
It's hard to believe in 2018, in the age of Trump, it is hard to believe that Stugotz, Mike, I'm not even kidding you. After 15 years of doing this show with me, you know what he said to me? When Jay Billis, he doesn't remember what the argument with Jay Billis was about, which is about, Tyler Hansborough, Michael Beasley. If Michael Beasley had Tyler Hansborough's reputation and resume, would he be drafted higher than Tyler Hansborough, who was the college player of the year? And it just dawned on Stugotz. I'm not even kidding you, Mike, when I say this.
Happened?
He says to me, no joke. He says, man, the white player really has to thank Europe for the showing in the NBA, which is, of course, true.
Yep.
But we've been having this conversation for 10 bleeping years around here. Jay Billis hung up on us trying to have this conversation about Europeans and Dirk Nowitzki being on the perimeter and being a 7-footer from Europe who could shoot and doesn't have to play or come through the pipeline of America to get in the post.
Dan, no offense, but this is stupid. and I'm not going to engage in this. I mean, all due respect. I mean, if you guys want to talk about this, I'm here to talk about whatever you want outside of this. This is stupid.
We don't have to talk about anything, but it's not stupid. And you can't start a sentence.
It is. It's stupid.
You can't start a sentence.
You can't sit there and talk race with regard, and then bring nationality into it and act like the whole race thing is the issue. And then you say, well, now but it doesn't apply with regard to white Europeans. That doesn't make any sense at all.
Jay, you can't start a sentence with no offense and then say this is stupid.
Okay, then take offense. It's stupid, and I don't want to talk about it anymore. You want to talk about something else?
No, thank you. Good talking to you.
You too.
Jay Billis of ESPN.
Dan Le Batard.
Creepy as F.
Stugotz.
I had a cat, Schmitty. He died.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz on ESPN Radio.
A texter writes in, wow, that Billis interview ended with a great hang-up sound that only a landline can provide. Jay Billis of ESPN. I miss those days when you could slam the phone down and put some stank on the hang-up. Jay Billis of ESPN. You can't put any stank on a hang-up these days with cell phones. Jay Billis of ESPN. Guerra, put it on the poll. Can you put any stank on a hang-up without a landline?
I don't think you can. It's a great point because that used to be such a good feeling, just slamming down your telephone at home. There should be an app or some sound that you could create when you want to hang up, when you're angry on your cell phone and you want to hang up. I'm going to create it.
Yeah, there it is. Look at the shipping container. Just goes crestfallen because they know you're going to make them try to create it and then just take a 95 to 5% split.
97.3. Billy, get on it. COB today, please.
So, Mike Ryan has a different way of covering all of this stuff, and we've got a lot of stories to get to here. Okay, one of the biggest upsets in baseball history happened last night. LeBron hit a 3-point game winner that I can't recall Michael Jordan ever hitting. I can't recall it.
Right. Jordan hit one in the finals.
That's Craig Elo.
But before, that wasn't a 3. But before we get to that.
It was a 4, actually.
Yeah. And the other one won a ring. I mean.
I'm marveling at LeBron because you guys are criticizing him in real time. You guys are criticizing Michael Jordan as he's climbing up because it's what happened with Michael Jordan. Before he hit that shot on Elo, ball hog choker, you can't win that way. Right. He's Paul George, he's Russell Westbrook, he's Carmelo Anthony. That's what the knock was. He's Dominique Wilkins.
Yep. He turned that around, though.
Yeah, he did.
He's a 6-time champion.
I know, but now you guys are doing it to LeBron, and last night, again, that's crazy. A man that size making that shot.
To get up 3-2 on the Pacers in the first round. You're right. Crazy.
While scoring 44 points. But okay, let's do these one at a time. Let's do them one at a time because going back to yesterday, Stugotz has 30 seconds for Cespedes. Let's just clean this up here because you got all these takes in you. Go ahead. Give me 30 seconds on Cespedes.
Cespedes, who, listen, I'm a Mets fan and I like Cespedes, and he took us on a great run through the postseason a couple of years ago. Last year, a disaster. This year, he's off to a so-so start. But he claims that he's off to a so-so start in a slump because he's not playing enough golf. And I got to tell you, man, I've been a Met fan for a long time. I don't want to hear that. I mean, the Stugotz are strong in you because it's something that I would say. But you know what? They're paying you like $25 million. I want you to take the baseball season seriously. Please just take it seriously. I love this team. This team has a chance to win a World Series. I don't want to hear that from Cespedes.
Time! 30 seconds on Matt Harvey.
Gets in.
30 seconds on Matt Harvey.
This guy's a jerk. Listen, he's a fake ace.
No.
He displays the behavior of a jerk, Dan.
And displays the behavior of a fake ace.
Well, he's been doing that for a while. And 3 years ago, I told the Mets to trade him. The Mets and Jay Horowitz did not listen to me. I said, trade that guy. Get something for him now.
Horowitz.
I sent them a text. I said, Jay, tell the guys over there to trade Matt Harvey.
Relations guy?
You know what? He's the only guy I know there.
Time! Give him 30 seconds on LeBron. You can't get up and celebrate that way. Game 5.
That is reserved for the NBA Finals. Big moments, big spots. Wade, Kobe, Michael Jordan. That's what that moment is reserved for. You don't do it because you go up 3-2 in the first round against a Pacer team.
He's better than two of the people you mentioned.
You don't do. Whoa!
Wait a second.
Whoa!
And Wade did it during the regular season, by the way. He was wearing an El Heat jersey at the time.
Yeah.
Oh, he did? Yeah. Terrible job by Wade. Terrible job.
He's allowed to do it.
He's won 3 championships and won one without LeBron. LeBron, Wade, I'm fine with Wade. Wade gets a pass. Okay.
LeBron's done the same.
Time.
Yeah,
time.
but LeBron needed Wade to win his 2. Hey, you guys didn't give me enough time. Everyone's ready to ruin my flow.
It's your fault. You got distracted because you wanted to get in the semantics argument about whether Wade deserves to do that or not.
Cespedes making $29 million this year. I mean, go buy a golf course.
Time's up.
Cent, 5 cent, 10 cent.
Your time's up.
No, I'm not happy because usually you guys just let me go, okay? You let me get my flow, and you don't worry about the facts, and you had to throw the weight thing in there and throw out my whole game.
$2. You're blaming others. You got 30 seconds for your crud takes, and you got to roll through them and give them to the people.
I tried, man. I got interrupted. What do you want me to? I don't have any money on me. I don't know what to do about
30
that.
seconds on Condoleezza Rice from yesterday.
When did we anoint Condoleezza Rice as the person who's going to fix sports? Seriously, anytime a sports committee is formed, Condoleezza Rice is on it. I don't understand it. Why is Condi making all the decisions? And they're bad suggestions, by the way, as well. Sarah's trying to fix college basketball. She's on this college football committee. I'm not certain she's ever watched the game committee. I'm not certain she's ever watched a college football game. And now here she is. She wants everyone banned from college basketball. All right, Condi, you want everyone banned from college basketball? I got news for you. There'll be no one left because they've all been cheating for years. Okay, that's it. Why Condi? I don't understand it. Hey, let's form a sports committee. We got to get Condoleezza Rice. Why? And you're trying to fix college basketball with the athletic directors. They're as guilty as anyone. And this has all happened under their watch for decades, and that's who's going to fix college basketball? Nope. And it's not going to be you, Condoleezza Rice. Tone. Fine.
Dollar Shave Club.
Sorry.
You're not sorry.
I'm not.
Dollar Shave Club. We're getting closer and closer to the weekend. You're getting closer and closer to being embarrassed. Do not let your face look like Stugotz's. What's the matter with you? Shave it up, clean it up. Dollar Shave Club.
How about Mark Emmert fix the NCAA? Why does Condoleezza Rice? That's his job, Mark Emmert. I don't like that guy, Dan. Mark Emmert. Something off there, if you know what I mean. Anyway, Dollar Shave Club. Oh, there is. Fix the job.
No, I don't know what you mean, Stugotz, that there's something off there with Mark Emmert. I don't know what you mean. Please explain. For as long as you like, please explain to us what's the something off with the head of the NCAA. Please.
So it seems like you agree with me.
Dan Batard.
What's the stat, by the way? It sounds like a dumb one.
Box plus minus.
Yeah. How about rings plus minus?
I mean, okay.
6 for MJ, 3 for LeBron.
Stugotz.
Put LeBron's rings in a box and then put MJ's rings in a box and tell me who has more. How's that sound? It's plus 3, by the way.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz on ESPN Radio.
Texter writes in here, stop fining Guillermo every time he speaks. He's the only reason I listen to your stupid show. Billy, that's $2. $2 you've got to pay because of that guy.
If you were wondering, I've been looking into pregnancy pillows because I saw an ad for them on Slate, and they look like the most comfortable thing. I mean, I'm not pregnant. My girlfriend's not pregnant. But these pregnancy pillows seem like a delight. There's different shapes. There's a U shape. There's a C shape. C shape looks uncomfortable, if we're going to be completely honest, because there's a hole in the middle of it. There's oversized. Your wife had the C shape? Yeah. There's oversized pregnancy. I'm telling you, Dan, you should get a pregnancy pillow.
$2 more. So the Marlins beat the Dodgers last night. You would have had to bet $450 to win $100 because Clayton Kershaw was pitching.
Yeah.
So you would have had to bet, it was minus 450 in some places, which is something I've never seen.
It's crazy.
I've never seen the idea that if you had the Marlins last night for $100, you would have won $450 against Clayton Kershaw.
Yep.
It's one of the biggest single game upsets in the last decade, and it's what Manfred and Jeter are telling you is the reason that the Marlins aren't tanking. Because any one day,
we beat
the
Kershaw.
Marlins are trying to win.
On any given day.
Any one day, they're trying to win, and it's the whole argument in which Jeter and Manfred take all your money.
Yeah. If you bet on Kershaw last night, shame on you. I mean, that's on you. The Dodgers have been betting on Kershaw forever, and it resulted in nothing. Seriously.
So the draft is tonight, and ESPN is obligated. It really is crazy when you think, and we'll get to the Reuben Foster situation in a second, because have you seen what's happening there? This one's fascinating, where Reuben Foster, the reason that many of you know his name is because he stands accused of being someone who hit his girlfriend 10 times in the head and broke her eardrum. And now she has recanted her story and told police that she was in a fight with somebody else and that he's not the one who did that to her. And I don't know what's true. We don't know what's true. But this is exactly the murky area in which the NFL shouldn't be leading on this stuff. Because Reuben Foster right now, I don't know what the hell happened, but if a woman is coming forth and trying to ruin his career because she's been scorned and she got into a fight with someone else, because there seems to be video evidence of Reuben Foster didn't do this to her, and it's the reason the 49ers were sticking by him, saying there's more information here that's being reported. But this is the reason the NFL should not be involved as the moral authority on these matters, even as it tries to legislate something that the legal system can't, because domestic abuse, rape, the he said, she said stuff makes it very hard in a court of law to prosecute these things. And the NFL is telling you, we're above that law. We're going to do it. And this is the reason they can't, because now you get a situation. The women are the victims here by grand percentages. But if there is an outlier where a woman is trying to ruin someone's career, the men are not going to support that in your audience. The men are going to be like, nope. Reuben Foster's a victim here of a scorned woman, and the NFL doesn't need to be in these discussions. The NFL, by proclaiming itself a moral authority, has made itself so that Reuben Foster is in the middle of this, whether he wants to or not. Reuben Foster 10 years ago, before Goodell did all this iron-fisted stuff, we would have never heard the name. We would have never talked about this story. Now, it's good that we're talking about this story, but what if he's the one that's been wronged somehow in this, because he's been stained everywhere as someone who breaks his girlfriend's ear And she's sitting here recanting her story when her recanting could be to just protect his career.
Right.
Like, it could be. It's one of the many reasons that domestic abuse is so hard to prosecute, because sometimes it involves people who love each other. And now, all of a sudden, after the heat of the emotion, of the fight, of the passion happens.
So if the lawyers and the police if they struggle to come to any sort of
system, the whole American justice system struggles with it.
Right. So if they do, the NFL shouldn't even attempt. They shouldn't be more heavy-handed than the law. It's not that they shouldn't attempt. Of course, you should try and police your workplace and keep it moral. It's that you shouldn't have a stiffer innocent than. You shouldn't have an innocent until proven guilty or guilty until proven innocent situation, because you've declared yourself a moral authority. Right.
You've got a guilty until proven. Like, I don't know what the hell happened with Reuben Foster. I know we wouldn't have cared before the NFL started getting in here. Remember how we used to cover? We used to cover domestic abuse stuff all wrong. There'd be domestic abusers on your roster 15 years ago, and nobody would know that was a crime that they were accused of or punished for.
Right.
So you have to smoke that out. You have to get it out into the light. And the NFL did that by being iron-fisted about these cases and being a stronger authority than the American justice system.
But is that a positive from it? The fact that
you tell me, is this positive?
Well, no,
is this positive? No, I'm asking you the question.
Bringing it to light, though, and at least having discussions about it.
I'm asking you the question.
This is not positive.
Is the Reuben Foster situation positive for the NFL? The entire situation, because I'm telling you, what did Roger Goodell, think about this, because it's a bit counterintuitive. The reason Roger Goodell was iron-fisted isn't because he actually wants his league to be pure. It's because he wanted the perception that something that is inherently violent and impure would be America's game with the anthem and would be pure. He was interested in protecting that image. His laws are so stringent right now that all he does in trying to protect that shield is make it stain all the more, because Reuben Foster, who you did not care about to know his name 10 years ago, this might be the only thing you know about him now. And you know about it. I don't know whether he did it or he didn't. We don't know if he did it or he didn't. The NFL doesn't know if he did it or he didn't. The 49ers seem to think they know that he didn't. So they keep him on the roster. But the problems that start with this messiness start because the NFL is in matters it shouldn't be in. I understand what you're saying. And yes, it'd be great if the NFL could be a moral authority that actually instigated change.
Right.
But not when they're a moral authority just to appear like a moral authority and they're not actually helping anything.
Just for PR purposes.
They're not helping anything. Right. Like, they're not. Whatever happened here with Reuben Foster, we still don't know, but they used to run through the legal system with lawyers arguing it in court and total fairness. And then it became something else when Roger Goodell proclaimed himself America's leader on this. Greg Cody's mock draft is next.
Yes.
Awkward transition. Time for some ads.
Goodell has a hard time running his own league.
I understand. No, I'm with you. You're asking what's the positive. Maybe it is PR, but when John Lynch comes out and says, make no mistake about it, if Reuben Foster's guilty, he will not be on this football team.
I
think some fans want to hear that, right?
But that's where the standard should be. Of course, if he's guilty, he won't be on the football team. He'll be in jail.
Exactly.
Catch more of the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz, 10 to 1 Eastern on ESPN Radio and ESPN News.
Everyone in the neighborhood knew about Bobby. Bobby, the basketball boy, they called him. Bobby wanted to go pro someday, so he was always out in the driveway shooting hoops. But one day, his mom came out and told him,
"Hey, your wife wants you to take out the trash?"
His mom was visiting, and Bobby was a grown man. He had kind of missed his window. Plus, no one had ever seen him actually make a basket. But on the other hand, Bobby had heard how Geico could save him money on car insurance, so he switched and saved. So it was all good.
Dan Le Batard.
Give us as much as you can here. Take us up to the dramatic first pitch, Billy.
Jose Ureña standing at the back of the mound. He reaches down. He's rubbing some dirt and rosin on his hand. And here we go.
Stugotz.
And the pitch. Oh, God, a home run on the first pitch of the game. Oh, my God.
Welcome, Derek Jeter. And that concludes our Marlins coverage for the season.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz on ESPN Radio.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. Commercial insurance through Progressive protects your business and your dreams. Choose from over 30 coverage options at ProgressiveCommercial.com. Guests on the Dan Le Batard Show appear via the Shell Pennzoil Performance Line. Here's your SportsCenter update. Stanley Cup playoffs Bruins dropped 4 goals in the third period to come back and beat the Maple Leafs in Game 7. Second round starts tonight with the Penguins at the Capitals. Spoiler alert, Capitals lose. And the Sharks taking on the Golden Knights. And finally, a man trying to smoke out a woodchuck accidentally started a brush fire that burned nearly 2 acres of grass and brush at an apple orchard Saturday. Monmouth officials said. How do you say that word?
Orchard?
Orchard? Orchid?
Are you looking for the flower, an orchid, or are you looking for a place where you would find a group of flowers?
An apple
orchard. An apple orchard.
Yeah, it's
orchard. Now you got me messed up.
I was saying,
an apple orchard. No, it's an apple orchard. You got me messed up because you're disorienting.
Okay. It's orchid, though. And stop blaming me. Multiple fines. Tone. Blaming me. $15. For all the latest headlines and information, tune in to the Sports Center on ESPN Radio all throughout the day.
So Adam Schefter is reporting
what?
A theory 2 people in the past hour have now floated. Now that's not a report. A theory floated by 2 people is not a report.
I love theories, man.
It's not at all a report. If anything, it's Stugotzian.
Who cares?
No, Adam Schefter has more Stugotz in him than I ever thought he did because I think of Adam Schefter as so credible. But okay, this is not journalism. This is not a report. This is Adam Schefter. He's an insider. Nobody questions his credibility. Nobody questions how good he is at this job. Nobody. But a theory 2 people in the past hour have floated is not news. That's not news by any discernible measure in my entire journalism lifetime.
It's a theory.
It is a theory. And here is the theory. And basketball is petty in all the best ways. And I feel like football isn't quite as good at petty, but this is pretty good. The theory floated by 2 people is that another team plotted to have Josh Allen's racially insensitive tweets put out just before the draft in order to increase the chances he would fall in the draft to that team. Now, I know, yes, it's great. Just great.
It's a great
theory. We've been sitting here arguing who did that with the tweets. Was it Lamar Jackson?
Yeah.
Did Lamar Jackson go to his tweets? Was it a scorned high school boyfriend or girlfriend?
There's so many places to go here. It could be an agent of one of the other quarterbacks. It could be a quarterback himself. Well, it could be Lamar Jackson. It could be Baker Mayfield. It could be a team who wants Josh Allen.
It could be a veteran quarterback that wants to hold on to a spot.
Yes.
It could have been Carson Palmer.
I think he retired.
Who's joining us in 30 minutes?
Oh, nice.
We'll ask him.
Yeah. Well, did you do it? Would you have done it? Would you have done it to Josh Allen? Hell, Brady just did it to Garoppolo. Just nuked him. Get out of here.
It might be Brady.
It could be.
It could be Brady. Brady's on a tour to ruin everyone's draft status. We've got a couple of things that we're going to get to during the show today. Mike Ryan he wants to do an undraft day. I want to hear the details of this, where your team comes to the microphone and just amnesties someone.
Yeah, right now the Browns are on the clock. I'll pick for the Browns in the undraft, the 2018 undraft, and with the first pick in the 2018 undraft, the Cleveland Browns are undrafting Jabril Peppers.
Oh, congratulations.
I thought you might undraft Martavius. What was that guy's name from LSU?
Oh, Barkevius Mingo.
Barkevius Mingo, yeah. Great name.
It was
great
tough,
name.
But
if I'm a rogue scout out on a field in Ohio somewhere and I call a defensive coach and say, listen, there's just me and this linebacker out here.
No, I got a pass rusher. I got a pass rusher I'm looking at.
Barkevius Mingo.
Woo, draft him number 1 overall.
That's it.
Sight unseen.
Yeah.
But we're also going to call everyone at the network and just ask them for their draft opinion because it's a big day in the history of the network. We have to be an infomercial for the NFL today. And you guys want it. It's not even like ESPN is selling its soul. It's what everybody wants. Every network is running this tonight. All networks. It's going to break into programming. If there's a presidential address, you're going to need to know who it is that the guard that was drafted at 11 by the Dolphins.
It is inescapable today. It's its debut on network television. Fox is just airing the NFL network coverage. Only one network has Mel Kiper.
That's it.
Guess which?
I'm telling you. Mel hasn't slept in days.
Hold on,
and not only has he not slept, he hasn't blinked.
Mike wasn't done.
Well, it would have been fine if I said guess which and he just said ESPN and then he would have guessed and it would have been fine.
But he had to get his point out there on the
guess which.
Everyone's crazy right now.
Guess which.
Which, Mike?
This one.
Yeah.
This one. This is the only network.
The television version of this one.
That has Mel Kiper's 4 exactos from last year.
Sorry, I stepped on that.
So, this is what we need to happen tonight. But it's too ridiculous. It can't possibly happen. But this is what all of us need to have happen tonight. we need to have right before the draft there to be an extortion type of situation. And next thing you know, on Twitter, one of the draft picks is wearing a gas mask filled with marijuana smoke. It would never happen. It couldn't happen in real life, but what needs to happen today for entertainment value is one of these draft picks has to be sabotaged by one of these teams or an agent or Lamar Jackson or whoever it is that's doing this sabotaging, Tom Brady, whoever it is that's out there, running through the smoke like those two guys who came out of the elevator in that terrible Smoking Aces movie.
So stylistic, though. It really was a joy to look at.
I gotta go watch that.
It really was. No, Jeremy Piven made a lot of bad choices after being Ari from Entourage, and one of them was the movie Smoking Aces, where he was a coked-out magician of some sort being chased down by a team of assassins, 2 or 3 of whom were really strange and emerged from an elevator through all the smoke screens and then just ran in a bunch of directions to look cool with no intention of killing anybody.
Weren't they all themed? Like there was one crew that looked post-apocalyptic, and there was another one that was really buttoned up.
There was a good movie somewhere in there. They did not make it. Somewhere in there were some visually cool things.
Was Affleck in that?
Yes.
A bit
Affleck,
part.
yes,
yeah,
a bit
Affleck
part.
was
That's right. No, it was going to be a big movie. Azaria told us that. Hank Azaria told us, you get like 3 chances to be the big movie star once you're hot. Rogan had them, used them. Hank had them. Hank evidently after the Birdcage had him and chose Godzilla. It's a safe choice.
Godzilla.
Oh. Right. I know, but it's a safe choice. Hank Azaria was headed toward Pacino and De Niro with the next 3 choices that he made. And one of them was Godzilla. He couldn't have seen that coming. You got to bet on Godzilla if you're making your next move as a movie star to be the guy who gets all the roles for 3 years.
You got to bet on something like that.
Godzilla.
Yes.
It was a little odd, though, because you would see the posters, and how could you not get excited for Godzilla? Huge action movie, apocalyptic reptile come in and destroy all of New York, and it stars Matthew Broderick.
Yeah.
Odd choice.
Is the theory correct? Is the theory correct by Hank Azaria that you basically get 3 chances? Once Seth Rogen, 40-year-old virgin, comes up, and bang, he's allowed to make everything. This guy, this director who makes Black Panther, he's going to be able to make the next 3 movies he wants to make.
Right. But if those 3 fail, you're saying
correct. It's an interesting theory. I hadn't heard it before. The idea that you can spend all of your movie star collateral that fast.
Yeah. Affleck burned up his third
Oh,
chance.
but he segued to director, though.
Yeah,
he
and then he did the exact same thing that ruined his career previously, was do a bad superhero movie. You could see it. It was art. We all saw it coming. He did the exact same thing. He Afflecked again.
He did.
He wrote the template.
Yeah. Guillermo, put it on the poll. Did he Affleck again? Because he went Daredevil. He went blind superhero, right? He went blind superhero.
Daredevil.
Yeah. It seems like Will Smith has gotten plenty of opportunities, more than 3. Like he has.
No, he's gotten more opportunities, but he hasn't gotten that many opportunities lately to be a big star. He's starring with orcs on Netflix. Like he's had enough movies here to bomb that he spent it. It took him a while to spend it, but he spent it.
Started with what? After Earth? And then it's just been kind of sad.
Well, who hasn't spent it? Because, Pacino's been a shell, but he keeps getting these roles. For 20 years, De Niro keeps getting all the roles.
You know who spent it quite a bit, actually? And it happened late in his career. And he was actually also in Smoking Aces. Ryan Reynolds. He had a million opportunities to become the biggest star in the world, and he was always on the cusp.
Did Gosling take him? Is that what happened?
Bad choices.
Or was it Gyllenhaal? Who took him? Who's the pretty boy who took him?
Gyllenhaal, that's a fun.
Who took him?
Defender with you.
Who took the roles from him? Who took the roles from Reynolds?
Because Mike, we had
Gosling and Gyllenhaal and just white guys.
Yes. Definitely Gosling, because we had Reynolds on, Mike, and you were telling us this guy is going to be the biggest movie star in America. You did say that.
Yeah, we can't get Ryan Reynolds on again because Daredevil, he was born to play Daredevil. That's why he was always trying to get that project made. And he actually played, not Daredevil, Deadpool. And he actually played Deadpool in an earlier movie that was terrible, a Wolverine prequel, and it seemed as though he had blown his chance to play Deadpool. But no, resilient, 7th chance. Got it right.
I loved Deadpool.
By the way, on Piven, did you guys see The Goods?
That's another one. That's
Live hard, sell hard.
That's
a lot of people
it's
like
amazing.
The Goods. That's a good movie.
It's Ari Gold as a used car salesman.
You know who directed that?
Yeah.
Our friend Neil Brennan actually directed that.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm not criticizing the movie. I'm asking you the 3 choices. That was panned. A lot of people like that movie, but that movie was critically panned. You can see the choices that Piven made after Entourage. You could go 1, 2, 3 and see how he disappeared. Because he's never been a lead. The Entourage was the only time. The expectations were lowered for him on Entourage, and he became the star of Entourage. But whenever Piven is kind of like these things we do in sports where we say a guy can't carry, an offensive coordinator who can't be a coach, or a guy who can't carry a team but is a great number 2 guy.
Actually, you're forgetting, Piven blew his first chance because he led a movie, PCU, and then he got a hair transplant and got a second chance, Entourage, and he blew that chance too. Yeah.
Again, though, it's hard. What were the other? Let's pair them against each other. Let's put Hank Azaria's 3 movies when he had the chance against the 3 movies that Piven had when he had the chance, and let's put them next to each other and figure out who blew it more on the way to movie superstardom. Hank Azaria or Hank Azaria after Birdcage, or Jeremy Piven after Entourage.
Don Le Batard. Wasted away again in Margaritaville. Searching for my lost shaker of sand.
Stugotz.
Some people claim that there's a green person to blame.
Really?
But I know.
I'm not
Margaritaville, baby.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz on ESPN Radio.
Everyone is very excited about the draft. Everyone is crazy around here. Stugotz is getting texts. He's not paying attention to the show. He's wearing a Favre Jets jersey.
Yep.
The Favre Jets experience only revealed a gray dong. That's all we remember from the Brett Favre Jets experience, that he sexted someone a dong that appeared to be gray, possibly his own.
You've been with me the whole time, like the last 15 years, through all the, mostly Jets bad seasons. We had a couple of AFC championship games. That might be what you remember from the Favre season. And probably most people. If you recall, 8-1. I mean, they were like the best team in the AFC at one point. They had beaten the Titans on the road in a big game. I mean, that was the happiest I've ever been as a Jet fan, right there.
Guillermo, put it on the poll, though. It all unraveled with the gray dong after that. Put it on the poll. Did everything unravel with Favre and the Jets with the gray dong? Because I feel like what I remember from that season is that they got rid of Chad Pennington, who then almost won the MVP.
Yep.
In the one season that Tom Brady was injured, right? Was that the one season that Tom Brady was injured? Do those things coincide? Because there is no winning of the AFC unless Tom Brady is injured, is there?
I think you're right. Yeah, I think Brady
the AFC East, rather, I should say.
Right, that's when Parcells' first year, Pennington fell into his lap. Pennington led them to a division championship, and yes, that was the year.
Okay, so anyways, the larger point is nobody knows what they're doing, but the largest place or the best place to find nobody knows what they're doing is beneath the Patriots in the AFC East. In fact, put that on the poll, Guillermo. Is the best place to find incompetence anywhere in the world beneath the Patriots in the AFC East? So, because we really don't know what we're doing with some of this stuff. I have gotten some great emails and texts, and so has Stugotz recently. What are the texts you're getting right now that prove that nobody knows anything, but everybody wants to know everything?
This day's got everyone crazy. Everyone loves today. I just got a couple of texts from Wes in the service department at my car dealership. And he is telling me that the Colts are going to trade down and get Chubb. I mean, this is amazing. And I'm telling you, Wes is dialed into the Colts. I'm telling you. So he knows, and so he just texted me that. I didn't ask him.
How are they going to get Chubb if they trade down? This is a team that's already traded down once. If Chubb's their guy, they should not be trading down.
Listen, that's what Wes says. I don't question Wes when it comes to the Colts. That's it. Wes in service.
What are you talking about?
Wes in service is dialed into the Colts. That's what I'm talking about. I'm just saying this whole day makes everyone crazy. And so people that, I don't really talk to Wes that much. I mean, he fixes my car, and I didn't ask him for anything on the Colts, and he just sent me 2 texts about the Colts because that's what today does.
All right. So here is a tweet from Michael Day Smith. Are you ready? Today's reminder that no one knows anything in the NFL draft.
Except Wes.
This is a pro football talk writer, right? Except Wes in service. That's correct. My forgiveness.
Michael Day Smith or Michael David Smith?
I've got Michael David Smith, but his Twitter name is Michael Day Smith.
All right, that explains what happened there.
So today's reminder. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it. Today's reminder that no one knows anything in the NFL draft. Mike Holmgren and John Elway, 2 men with quarterback expertise, 2 champions, took Brandon Weeden at 22 and Brock Osweiler at 57 in 2012. The next 3 quarterbacks off the board were Kirk Cousins, Nick Foles, Russell Wilson.
I remember it well, but Holmgren was under a lot of pressure to win now And if you need to win now, why not draft a 36-year-old quarterback?
Yes, when you need to win now, you have to have someone older than Carson Palmer as your quarterback. If he's coming out as a rookie, and you could somehow get someone that's older than my father, you need to do that immediately. So we've got a lot of other stuff going on, though. Like I said, we've got to. That's not draft related. We've got a lot of other stuff going on that is draft related. Carson Palmer's going to join us in 10 minutes. Mike Ryan was telling me that his brother has an app. You were talking about making an app earlier. What was the app? Do you remember the app that you were talking about making that you'll never make, that you'll ask the shipping container to make, and then the idea will die in there?
It's to recreate the slamming down of the old home phone. You can't do that with your cell phone. I did ask, Billy, I hope you didn't do too much work on this, because I have discovered there's already an app for it. So we're good, though.
All right, there it is. Billy tears up. This happens a lot with Stugotz ideas. He has business ideas that he hands off. But is this a good idea or a bad idea by Carson Palmer's brother, this app that Mike Ryan's going to tell you about right now?
Yeah, we've actually spoken about it briefly on the show before. This is called Run P, and Jordan Palmer, Carson's brother, developed this app that helps you take a bathroom break during a movie by telling you which is the exact perfect moment you should go run pee. And it puts those moments on an app, and it fills you in on what you're missing in the moment, which is usually just character development stuff that's just sprinkles on an already formed character.
So can you give me some examples? Can we use this app on the air with Carson Palmer to sort of explore some famous movies, the right time to walk out of them? Is this something that we can do with Carson Palmer next to give his brother and that app some love?
I'm not sure how much Carson knows about this app. He may hate this app and may make fun of his brother for this app, but I'll give you an example of how this app works. A movie that we've actually been talking about ad nauseum here lately, Titanic. Perfect pee moment. 56 minutes in, when Molly Brown says, you shine up nice like a new penny. This is an excellent pee time, as nothing crucial happens. It's easy to read about in the synopsis. Although this is a good scene, we have to pick places to run and pee. So choose your moments wisely. Within 3 to 5 minutes, we can summarize those moments for you.
Guillermo, put on the poll. Is that a good app? Is that a good app?
That's a great idea.
The one that allows you to go pee during a movie at a time when people aren't going to movie theaters as much as they once were. You can now go to pee during a movie by pausing your television and using your own bathroom.
You can also tell how good a movie is, because Titanic's a very long movie, and most movies have multiple places where you can go run pee. But Titanic, as a 3+ hour movie, only has 2 spots. 1 hour and 59 minutes in, right when the first engine shuts off. Go, run pee.
Check out Cliffhanger, please, because it should say run and pee anytime after the first 10 minutes.
Dan Le Batard.
I mean, my kids don't even like me anymore. That's the bad part. I mean, the one thing I had was my kids, was my twin girls, and they are mortified by me, by my mere existence.
Stugotz.
I mean, I went in that lake at camp over the weekend, took the shirt off, stuck the stomach out as far as I could, and cannonballed right into that lake. My girls asked me to leave afterwards.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz on ESPN Radio.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. Carson Palmer going to join us here in just a minute on the Shell Pennzoil Performance Line. Here's your SportsCenter update. Mike Budenholzer and the Atlanta Hawks have mutually agreed to part ways. Deontay Wilder is offering Anthony Joshua $50 million guaranteed for a heavyweight unification bout.
Wilder.
Yeah, I know. I got something going on with my head. I'm not blaming anyone. Just my headsets are crackling in and out. I can't hear.
That's because you've blown them out by having them so loud.
Yeah. What? And finally, Jordan Peele decided to quit acting after he was asked to play the poop emoji in the Emoji Movie. Being a mom is like 1,000 little jobs all wrapped into one. This Mother's Day, show her your appreciation with 36 sorbet roses for just $36 from 1-800-Flowers.com. To order, go to 1-800-Flowers.com, click the radio icon, enter code Dan.
Wait a minute. Is that true, what you just said there? Is that true?
What, Budenholzer and the Hawks? Yeah, I know. It was quick. It was weird because a couple of years ago they were calling Budenholzer like the next Greg Popovich, right? He was from that tree, that coaching tree, and now you take a couple of players away. Millsap goes to Denver, and now Budenholzer's out of a job. Crazy. So, yeah, it's true.
Did Peele make Get Out because he didn't want to be the poop emoji?
Oh.
Is that what happened? I didn't realize Peele had even quit acting. I knew he was directing, but I didn't know he had quit acting. That's funny.
Recent comments of Vanity Fair, I believe, where he discussed his lack of desire to.
Yeah, I'm really talented. How about you not make me the poop in the Emoji Movie? Carson Palmer with us now on ESPN Radio. Did you have any more to read there, or did you finish up everything you were doing?
For all the latest headlines and information, tune in to Sports Center on ESPN Radio all throughout the day. That's all I had.
So, Carson, help me out with this, and thank you for joining us. He's with us on behalf of FedEx Cares Global Giving Initiative. Before we get to that, though, Carson, do you have to be public, serious quarterback who gives boring answers to everything? Or now that you're retired, can you actually be the Carson Palmer I know is hidden in there somewhere?
Yeah, in fact, I'll play the poop emoji. I've got nothing to do.
Well, didn't you
guys? Can you set me up to be the poop emoji?
What was the bet you lost that you ended up last year wearing something on the field that looked ridiculous? Was that last year or 2 years ago?
For the last 2 years, just about every week I lost the bet and had to look like an idiot and dance around like a fool on the field. So there's too many to remember.
Which is the worst one?
There was a couple. There's actually a couple that were on the team plane that so they were private, where the public couldn't see them before the game and there wasn't cameras around. That really we can't talk about on air.
Carson, come on,
you're really
Carson,
disturbing.
Carson, you're retired. Talk around it. Come on, who are you going to get in trouble? Give me something, man.
I'm
Give
protecting
me
you guys. I'm protecting ESPN.
Well, but the locker room,
want me to say
locker room is offensive. We know there are all sorts of things that happen in there. I don't want you to curse, but is there a way you could talk around it and tell us what you were dressed like on an airplane because you lost a bet?
Actually, it's funny we were talking about the poop emoji. I had to dress up as an inflatable giant poop, and the name of it actually on the costume outfit was the bad word of poop. So okay. I had to wear that in a team meeting one time, but there were some very offensive male parts that ended up in some on some costumes,
right.
And it was it's not something that we should be talking about.
Okay, very good. Okay, but what did you lose? Like cards? Something else? Forgive me, I don't know what it is that you guys throw in competitions, and how does it work?
It was called the Bucket Challenge, and it was on Fridays before the game, and basically the essence of it, there's a garbage can, you throw footballs into a garbage can. It's a little bit more detailed, and there's a lot of rules that are thrown in there, but at the end of the day, it's throwing a football from about 30 yards into a trash can, and it's not about winning the bucket challenge, it's about not losing the bucket challenge, because it's always the quarterbacks, and then Patrick Peterson, the Arizona Cardinals quarterback, would jump in it, because he wanted to be a quarterback and thinks he is a quarterback at heart. But so all of us did it, and whoever lost ended up having to wear a costume of the other non-loser's choice.
Right. You should be good at that, though, Carson.
I mean, you should be winning. Yeah. Why are you not winning? Why are you losing every week?
Well, to make it fair, I was throwing left-handed.
Okay. That explains it.
Okay. That would make. He's with us on behalf of FedEx Cares. It's a global giving initiative, and we support all the giving that you got around here in sports. So we'll get to that in a second. But first, have you ever discussed with anyone in your locker room? It's been a source of fetish and fascination around here for a long time. We've talked to Larry Fitzgerald about it. He will be standing in a mall. He will turn around, and an 85-year-old woman has a hand on his butt because he's got okay. So now you know what I'm talking about, because he's got the perfect butt. And I just want to know, this is something that you've noticed, or the locker room has talked about, or teased him about, or you've seen an 85-year-old woman grab his butt.
I've never seen that, and but again, most of what Larry and I do away from the football field is play golf, and there's just not that many 85-year-old women on golf courses these days. So,
but you've gotten a good look at it, though. You've gotten a good.
You've noticed it, though,
You've noticed it walking down the golf course. You've noticed it. I just want you to admit it. We'll move on.
Yeah, but I mean,
it's beautiful. It's beautiful.
It's impressive.
It's impressive. It's the highest form of human butt evolution.
Is this what you guys do on the radio nowadays?
Yeah.
Carson.
Sitting around talking about booties?
Carson, you were dressed as poop on a plane, okay? Don't be all serious on us now, all right? You remember?
True.
Okay,
True.
knock it off.
Room to talk.
Okay, very good.
I've got no room to talk. I'm sorry, I apologize.
Not these days, by the way. We've been talking about Larry's behind for 15 years.
It's been a decade-long obsession because it's perfect.
We've had him on just to talk about it, yeah.
Yes.
It's massive.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes.
That's okay. That's
Yes.
it. Just give us like 15 seconds of soundbite, like you're in front of your locker and we're asking you a post game question. Carson Palmer, you had a big game today. Tell us about Larry Fitzgerald's butt.
Yeah, that last winning touchdown was all in the butt. It propelled him downfield past the defenders. It let him stop, put his foot in the ground, and explode off the ground and catch the ball 13 feet off the ground.
Yes.
There you go. Carson Palmer. That's excellent. Yes.
Can we move on?
Yes, we can move on. I don't really want to, but let's move on to more serious matters. Your brother's app. Can you tell us about this? Is he making money off of this? The telling people to pee during movies, when to pee.
I don't know if that app is still up and running. I know it was about a decade ago, but that company that he's been involved with is actually it's now turned into Shots, which is kind of like it's in that whole Instagram world of social media. So that's morphed into something else, but it was a really cool idea for a little while, and I don't know if it's still up and running. That'd be a better question for him. But yeah, it was a really cool app that if you're in a movie and you really have to go to the bathroom and you decide to go to the bathroom, an hour and 13 minutes into it, you can go on the app, you can run to the bathroom and see what you missed before you get back in your seat.
Carson, like the rest of us, are you surprised that Marvin Lewis is still the coach at Cincinnati?
I mean, you can.
No, I mean Marvin's. He's kept the ship afloat. He's not. They haven't had a ton of success in the playoffs, but they've been in the playoffs, which is more than you can say for a lot of teams. So, I think from that point, the Bengals are happy that they at least have been in the playoffs for a handful of years.
Carson, if I may call you out on something, though, over his tenure, you can't say it about a lot of teams. Teams make the playoffs. They don't go 20 years without making the playoffs. Like that, eventually, if you stay 20 years in the job, somebody's going to make the playoffs.
Yeah, but the Bengals went like 20 years without ever making the playoffs, and then he got there and they made the playoffs, so at least you could say that.
That's
fair.
true.
Totally fair.
But you can also say that during those 20 years that they didn't make the playoffs, they won as many playoff games as they did in the 20 years that Marvin Lewis getting to the playoffs.
That's true, but their main focus is just to get to the playoffs, and they're happy.
Okay.
There you go, which is why you quit, ultimately, isn't it, Carson? And then the next time we saw you were on the other side of the country in Arizona. Oakland, actually.
Oakland, yeah.
Oakland, true.
Their goal is to just make the playoffs.
Carson Palmer, he's with us on behalf of FedEx Cares Global Giving Initiative. This is an actual difficult question that I hope that you can answer. It might be difficult to answer. You were the best man in Matt Castle's wedding. If I took your entire career, Carson, and put it in New England, how does it look different? Because Matt Castle in New England went 11-5 when Brady went down the 1 year. If I take your entire career and put it in New England, what do you think that looks like?
Well, we'd never know, but you're onto something because I've always felt that especially with quarterbacks in the NFL, the outcome of your career is so circumstantial. It's so dependent on right time, right place, whether you're talking about that being the right organization, the right head coach, the right coaching staff, the right owner, whatever that is. When you look back at quarterback's career, a lot of it's, like I said, very circumstantial. What situation were they put into right away, and how was the team around them? How was the coaching staff? How were the draft picks that followed after he was drafted? So, it's obviously it's an impossible question to answer. It's just a theory, but I think I would have had a couple more wins, maybe.
Well, do you think you'd have a couple more rings?
Yeah, I mean, of course, I would love to say that, but again, you can't get a definitive answer on that. But I said, I mean, there's so many things. Being a good quarterback is so much else about what's around you. It's very good to be able to throw a spiral and throw it far and throw it accurate, move in the pocket, change plays, and recognize all those things are extremely important. But the quarterback play is so dependent upon everything around, and I'm talking about playing for a great owner that's willing to do what it takes to build the team around that quarterback or that defense or that offensive line. The coaching staff and the draft picks and the free agent signings in the off seasons. And there's just so many factors that go into a successful career and winning Super Bowls. It's not just about the quarterback or just about how well they can throw the football. It's so dependent on so many other things. And that's why this league is so fascinating, and there's so many fans, and we have such great fans because it's such an interesting game. It's such an intricate game, and there's so many little things that go into a successful season or an unsuccessful season.
Would you be kind enough, Carson? We got to get out of here, and we'll talk to you about the global giving that you're doing with FedEx in a second. But would you be kind enough to tell me the one quarterback that you looked at during your career where you were like, if he had more support, he would have been a lot better? He was sabotaged by all these circumstances you speak of.
Oh, man, that's a really good question. Gosh, that's a good question. You know, I look at Matt Stafford.
Is it you?
I was going to say Matt Stafford. Go ahead. I'm
Matt Stafford, go, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I look at the way Matt plays the game, and has as good of an arm as anybody in the league, or top two arms in the league. He's great in the pocket. He is phenomenal under pressure. He's getting better at being a runner of the football, and I'm not saying he's Michael Vick out there, but he's just finding a way to get 6 yards on 3rd and 5 and then getting down and not taking hits. And then you look at the turmoil around him, from bad drafts to just stuff going on in the front office to coaching changes. There's just been a lot of turmoil and no consistency around him. And I think, if he were playing for a different organization, maybe he might have more playoff wins, maybe a Super Bowl ring. Because as far as talent's concerned, there's no doubt about it. I mean, he is one of the most talented passers in the game.
Tell us about FedEx Cares and what you're doing with them.
I'm here representing FedEx. FedEx is donating $10,000 to the USO today as the draft gets underway for the future of the FedEx air and ground players. I was a recipient of the award in 2005 and 2015 for the FedEx Air Player of the Year, and that money goes to the USO, which the USO is a phenomenal organization. The USO, what it does is it helps place our military servicemen and servicewomen into their next career once they become military veterans, and once they move on to being a dad full time, being a mom full time, or getting a resume ready or setting up job interviews. It's a placement program that our military service men and women get set up with a USO Pathfinder, and that USO Pathfinder really is kind of like a guidance counselor and helps them move on or make decisions on certain career moves, or help them figure out what their life insurance policy or how their insurance works or whatever that is. It's a great organization. Over the last 16 years, the FedEx has donated $1.7 million to the USO. And then on a side note, FedEx is donating $200 million by 2020 to 200 different global communities. So I'm here representing FedEx, and I'm honored and I'm proud to represent FedEx and proud of what FedEx is doing across the planet, but also in our own NFL cities.
Thank you, sir.
I'm at the draft right now. Can you hear? I'm inside Dallas Cowboy Stadium, and it's a beautiful setup. This place is amazing, and they're getting ready, so you might hear some background noise.
I love that.
We're not going to hear any background noise because we're letting you go, but thank you for being on with us. We appreciate it because we're against the clock here. We got to get out. Thank you, Carson, for being on with us.
Catch more of the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz, 10 to 1 Eastern on ESPN Radio and ESPN News.
Dan Le Batard.
I listened to Dan's show while I was in Florida last week, I listened every day, came in the afternoon. He's got a good show.
Stugotz.
It's got a very good show. Oh, it's impeccably produced. I mean, oh, goodness. That is like a training show for kids on how to produce radio.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz on ESPN Radio.
We are getting praise from all over the globe for that last segment. People are mad, hostile. There's a hostility right now. They are reaching out to us because there's nothing worse than the expectation of funny and then not being funny. And I'm including in there like famine and world atrocities. Like there's nothing worse than trying to be funny and not being funny. Guillermo, put it on the poll. Is there anything worse than trying to be funny and not being funny?
The last segment wasn't funny?
Well, the people seem to think not.
Oh.
Because in the middle of it, everyone was writing in, this is painful. This segment is terrible. You can't hear anything the callers are saying. This is not funny or entertaining. I think I heard Mina Kimes say the Browns were taking Tyrod Taylor at number 1. No. This bit isn't funny.
Impossible.
I get the show when the bit's not funny.
That's not what was said. No, actually, very clearly, she said that they'll probably take Sam Darnold because they have Tyrod Taylor.
Correct.
They weren't listening.
Yeah. They weren't listening.
Listen better, man.
Listen better. Yeah. Take some ownership of what went wrong there, listener.
Well, I'll tell you tonight, you're going to watch, like Mel's going to talk, McShay's going to talk, Wingo's going to talk, everyone's talking over each other, and we're just trying to sharpen your skills now because that's what draft day sounds like, man. Everyone's going to be talking over each other tonight.
Right. Opinions galore. All of them mean nothing, even the ones that your team thinks that they've got a lock at. It means nothing. Your general manager, who's brilliant, Bill Belichick is going to make bad picks tonight. Because the whole
not Belichick.
No, he won't do it.
No, in fact, the best quarterback taken in this draft is the one that Bill Belichick takes on day 3.
You know that. Well, you see what they're doing here, right?
Oh yeah.
Oh, he's angling for Lamar Jackson. Like he is trying to make that happen desperately. Belichick is.
Forgive
if for no other reason, just to make Brady uncomfortable.
Forgive my ignorance here. Are the Patriots good at drafting?
Oh yeah, they're the best.
Yeah, best ever. Yeah, they got Brady. I mean,
the best ever.
No, I'm saying since they found that in the 6th round, that was available in the 5th round, in the 4th round, in the 3rd round, in the 2nd round, and the 1st round, and they didn't take it. Since then, have they been good?
Oh yeah,
at the drafting process.
You're good at everything.
You can't have sustained excellence without being amazing at the draft.
You can't have sustained excellence because you found somebody in the 6th round. No,
that makes you the best ever too. Taking Tom Brady with the 6th round pick.
That's a great deal they've got. Where.
They're the best to ever do it. Yeah.
If they didn't notice you until the 6th round, they'll make you the best ever anyway, and then it feels like they knew something when they're taking you in the 6th round. Tom Brady, 6th round. Enjoy the draft tonight, kids.
They knew what they were doing with Garoppolo too. There's Ryan Mallett, bit of a miss, but whatever. Garoppolo and Brady.
Yeah.
One of the things
they got Jacoby Brissett a couple of years ago in the 3rd round. Mike is right. Malcolm Mitchell. I mean, they are very, very good at this. Malcolm Brown the year before, 2015. Yep, fast is fast. You're right.
No, I said facts is facts.
Oh, facts is facts. Well, fast is fast too. You know, and they draft speed. They got Jimmy Garoppolo, 62nd pick. I mean, they're incredible. James White,
to the dismay of Sean Payton.
Yeah.
Guillermo. I want to talk about some basketball here, but before we get to basketball and what happened in that Utah OKC game last night where OKC was down 25 and then came back because Russell Westbrook went crazy. Many people are going to make that about Westbrook, or they're going to make it about, 3 stars on the brink, even though Carmelo didn't do anything, saving their season. The stat you need to have is they're shooting. That usage rate, awful team in OKC is shooting 37% when Gobert is on the floor, and 56% when he's off.
It's crazy.
Because he had foul trouble.
Yes.
He had foul trouble.
He didn't foul out. He had 5 fouls.
Right, so they were up 25 when he was playing, and then all of a sudden OKC makes all his shots when he gets into foul trouble.
So are we comfortable with the sample at this point? Is Gobert a good defender? We think so?
Yes, we think so. We're comfortable with the sample, so we're not going to talk about that anymore. We're going to go to Guillermo on that big Marlins win last night. Clayton Kershaw. Marlins hat wearing Guillermo. Do you stay up late at night? That was one of the biggest upsets in the history of a sport that always produces them. The Miami Marlins, and whoever it is that plays for them, beat Clayton Kershaw last night in Los Angeles.
Outdueled by Trevor Richards, Dan.
You just made that name.
Yeah.
He's young, but he has gray hair, so he's confusing to me. Also, he used to work in a brewery, so it was a big deal when he pitched against the Brewers. Fun little game, Dan. By the way, it was an earlier start, so I watched some of it, and I felt comfortable going to bed when they had like an 8-3 lead, and I woke up and I found out that the game ended 8-6. So, game almost didn't end great. But, Dan, good news. First time this season they won a series, and first time this season they won back-to-back games. So, we're trending in the right direction, right?
Yeah, we are. Donnie Baseball couldn't leave him in for the win. I mean, he lets him go 4 2/3. He has 10 strikeouts, 1 hit. He gets the win. He gets one more out. He gets a win.
I mean, you know how Donnie Tebow operates. He doesn't want this Trevor Richards to get a win.
Can you guys give me some other people in sports or entertainment who are confusing the way that Billy is baffled by young but also gray hair? Young but also gray hair. Is there, because Billy found, Mike Lowell, I remember Mike Lowell, World Series MVP. I was confused how in his late 20s he had gray hair, but then, he overcame illness. So that's one of the reasons that was happening. It was an awfully awkward conversation.
Oh, you didn't know.
Yeah, I mean, well, the conversation ended, and these kinds of awkward things happen to me all the time with the revelation, though not literally, that he had one testicle.
Dan Le Batard.
People have told me before, when I was younger, that I looked like George Clooney. I'm serious. When I was younger.
Stugotz.
You have a booger in your right nostril.
So does Clooney.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz on ESPN Radio.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. Expecting Penny Hardaway here in just a minute to break down the draft on the Shell Pennzoil Performance Line. Here's your SportsCenter update. Nick Newell, a professional mixed martial artist, missing the lower portion of his left arm, will get a shot at a UFC contract this summer. The NFL says that there was no evidence that any team asked LSU running back Darius Geis if he liked men or if his mother was a prostitute. And finally, amid troubling allegations that Stan Lee has been subjected to elder abuse, filmmaker Kevin Smith has invited the 95-year-old comic legend to live with him. For all the latest headlines and information, tune in to SportsCenter on ESPN Radio all throughout the day.
Both of those stories are interesting. We're trying to find Penny Hardaway, the new Memphis basketball coach. He was Tracy McGrady before Tracy McGrady. Can you read that second story again? Now, last time we heard from Stan Lee, Kevin Smith is a big comic book guy. Clerks, Mallrats, Dogma. He is a big comic book guy, and he is trying to help Stan Lee by inviting Stan Lee to live with him. But last time we spoke about Stan Lee, he was not being the victim of elderly abuse. He was being accused by his nurses of being a 95-year-old pervert who was perpetually sexually harassing them. Right. But the second story that you read, can you just read that sentence again? I don't want any context. I don't want anything else. I just want you in 2018 to hear this sentence from Stugotz, the second one.
The NFL says that there was no evidence that any team asked LSU running back Darius Geis if he liked men or if his mother was a prostitute.
That's a normal thing. Like that is something you read as a matter-of-fact sentence, like you would say it's Thursday.
Yep. I did. Yep. Like the Marlins over the Dodgers last
It's
night.
a fairly amazing sentence to just sort of whisk past on the way to Kevin Smith news. I'm not blaming you. I'm just saying.
No, I know. I'm with you. I can't believe we arrived where that is normal. No one even blinks.
I mean, okay, what? We asked him if that prostitute. We don't. So let's get this straight, just so we understand what tonight is. Nobody knows anything about what they're doing, but they do know to ask about prostitutes, maybe or maybe not. We don't know. The NFL is saying there's no evidence, but you know what the evidence is? It's been done before at every turn and by many, many teams to many, many players, including, oddly, that it wouldn't be unprecedented to ask a player whether his mother's a prostitute. That's not an old story. That's a cliche.
Yeah.
We've already covered this ground in sports.
Were the Dolphins the first ones where it was, where you were shocked by it? Was that the first story?
Jeff Ireland was the first time we heard about it. And if that was indeed the first time, what a trendsetter.
Yeah. Because we were shocked that day, right?
I mean,
the audacity that Jeff Ireland would do that. And now it's,
we have learned it is a copycat league.
So Penny Hardaway is going to join us in a little bit. What is the best thing to ever happen on a draft day? Because I believe...
Tunsil and the gas mask.
I was just about to say that. I was about, in the history of the draft, has there been anything better than a guy dropping in the draft because somebody was extorting him on Twitter and put a picture of him or a video of him smoking marijuana through a gas mask.
Mike, I'm afraid he set the bar so high, Tunsil, that no one will ever be able to jump over that.
We've jumped the shark? That's the tipping point?
Yes.
Yeah, I think it was... That might have been the same year or it was right around. The two greatest draft moments ever were certainly number one with a bullet, Laramie Tunsil gas mask. There's no topping that. I can't conceive of a fictional...
Well, what is the
There
fictional?
was like a blackmail angle to
yes,
it.
Yes, well, yes, he is. He is a blackmail.
On top of that, there was extortion. And then there was a whole Johnny Manziel thing where he started sliding and the Cowboys going to take him. Can Jerry Jones help himself? That was such drama. This is a television spectacle. And I understand why Dan doesn't get into all the hype. And you know what? The hype helps get you pumped for what you see tonight, which is just television. It's drama.
Yep.
It's brilliant.
Yep.
It's over the top. It's excess. It's stimulation. There's a lower third going one direction, a lower third going the other direction. This person's talking, let's go out to this satellite hit. We got a stringer over there. Embedded in headquarters, you got a cam on the wall inside a war room. It's called a war room. I mean, it's
yeah, but nobody,
everything.
But nobody knows anything, and your team, you don't know if it's going to be any better by the end of the night.
No, my team is definitely going to be better. Wow. How can they be worse than 0
That's a
wins?
fair point, yeah.
At the very least, they will maintain the same level.
Yep. Same with the Jets. I mean, has to be better,
We're
right?
not getting any worse today.
We're getting new quarterbacks tonight, Mike. I mean, we got new quarterbacks tonight.
A new guy that's going to be the guy.
Yes.
A new guy that's going to turn everything around and give us the Super Bowl we deserve.
I have no confidence whatsoever. Like, the Jets are going to take Josh Rosen. He'll be out of the league in 5 years. But if the Giants took him, he'd have a Hall of Fame career.
With Gettleman? All right, so Penny Hardaway joins us now. He's the Memphis basketball coach. This is a little bit of a surprise to some people. You don't see a lot of the stars go back to college to coaching. Patrick Ewing has done it. Penny Hardaway has done it. Steve Alford has done it. And Penny joins us now on ESPN Radio. Thank you, Penny, for making the time. Before we talk to you, though, about Memphis coaching, is it okay if we reminisce with you about Lil Penny and time with Shaq and some of your favorite? Do you have a best story? Because Shaq always feuds with his wingmen after he's left his wingmen, Dwayne Wade, Kobe Bryant. Do you have a best Shaq story that can explain to us your relationship with him?
Shaq is just a comedian. I mean, I have a million stories, but none that had to do with me. He and I were always on the same page, but all of the antics and things that he did himself, he just kept the team light-spirited, and we had fun.
And so when you were having that fun, though, because did you get only years of skinny Shaq? Is that all you got? Skinny athletic going coast to coast Shaq with the basketball. Is that all you got?
That's all I needed. That's all you needed. Skinny Shaq, athletic Shaq that can run the floor. Amazing. I'm glad I got a chance to play with that Shaq.
All right, so can you tell us what that time was like for you, though? You're running the NBA. You've seen what's happened to the NBA since. You and Shaq were as big a star as you would find in that league outside of Michael Jordan. So can you explain to us what that time was like? Was that the most fun you've ever had in your life?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we were actually like rock stars. Everywhere we went, to every arena, to the hotels, to when we went to the mall on the days that we were on the road to go to the malls or out to eat, it was like everywhere we went, man, it was mayhem. So that entire time that I spent with Shaq in Orlando was an unbelievable run. It was something that I'll never forget, and definitely the most fun that I had in the NBA with anybody.
And so you guys go to the finals.
Yeah, you go to the finals. I'm wondering, and I'm sorry to bring this up, man, but I've always wanted to ask you this. How often, like every day, do you think of those Nick Anderson free throws?
Not every day, but I'm reminded monthly about those free throws that were missed. So, yeah, we felt like we really missed a great opportunity. But, yeah, I still think about those from time to time.
So when Memphis basketball coach Penny Hardaway, when that was starting with Shaq, if I'd come up to you right then and said, Penny, how's this all going to end? Like, not the relationship. I mean, are you guys going to win X number of championships? Like, if I come to you at the beginning when you and Shaq team up, what do you think the next stage is? What do you expect them to look like?
Well, I would say we would have at least 2 championships, and we would have still been together, and our team would still be rolling, but no less than 2 championships is what I would have told you if you would ask me that question in the beginning when I first met Shaq and we first came together.
And so how crushed were you when it didn't become that?
I was very crushed because I knew once he left, I understood the magnitude of him leaving. I mean, you can't lose the franchise. I mean, that it was devastating in so many different ways for our organization and for our city.
Were you mad at him?
I wasn't mad. I was more disappointed. I can't say I was mad because I knew it was a business, and I knew that he had to go on and do things that he wanted to do, and I didn't want to hold him back from those things. But I was more disappointed because I wasn't a part of him asking, questions or really trying to stay. It was just, man, it was more disappointment.
So when you go back, Penny Hardaway with us again, Memphis Tigers men's basketball coach. He is running a Memphis Tigers basketball. But when you go back look at that time period and you look at the commercials, I take you to the first commercial where they're telling you, the first marketing meeting, this is what we've got planned for you around as a marketing campaign. What did you think that was going to become?
I just thought while I was in the league that it was going to be good and it was going to be funny. I didn't think it was going to turn into what it turned into. It turned into something very major with the marketing of me and Little Penny, and it was amazing. It overexceeded my expectations when I first started doing those commercials to where it actually had gone to.
How did those commercials change your life?
Well, they changed my life tremendously because there were a lot of fans that weren't really people that weren't basketball fans, but just really enjoyed the commercials. So Little Penny took me to, a different stratosphere, like a different level. I mean, I was already a really good basketball player in the NBA that had a lot of fans, but Little Penny took me to another level.
All right, but can you explain to us, Penny, what that looks like? When you're saying that, does that mean temptation? Does that mean fame? Does that mean movie stars want to be in your life? When you say...
I think it means blue chips.
Does it mean blue chips?
I think it means fame. I think it means that movie stars and other athletes want to be in your presence because of the superstardom that took me to. So... it was on that level.
Do you remember the first few times that someone was excited to meet you and you were confused by it? Because you're like, how is this person a fan of me? I'm just a basketball player. And then you realize, I'm a bit of a cultural icon, too, because they love these commercials.
I mean, all of my favorite athletes, even when I'm a Dallas Cowboys fan, and I went to the Dallas Cowboys Stadium to see them play, and Emmitt Smith and those guys were excited to meet me. I was really shocked because I'm a huge Emmitt Smith, Michael Irvin fan, Troy Aikman fan. So when those guys were excited to meet me, that was pretty cool.
Oh my God. How fun were those parties? No, but how much fun were those parties with those guys? You were meeting the rebellious champion, dragging through the courtroom. Did you party with the Cowboys, Penny?
I did not party with the Cowboys, but I was in the locker room during those championship years, yes.
Wow. Who do you want the Cowboys to take tonight? Give us a breakdown, Penny. Come on,
you want to break down the draft? Who does Penny Hardaway want the team taking in the draft? Give us a name.
Man, I can't give you a name. Okay. I wish we could draft 5 or 6 guys in the top 10.
There you go.
We all did. There you go. Yeah. That's a good selection.
That's a good selection. Yes, the Browns are doing that. Yeah. So Penny, coaching's hard work. Coaching is hard, and you're doing fine. Everything was good. Like, you are good with going back and working hard after you've retired.
Yeah, that seems crazy, but that's what I wanted to do. I think the timing is perfect on it. I understood the workload that came along with this job, but I'm excited, and I'm all in. This is something that I really wanted to do.
Can you explain to us, though, Penny, and this is going to be a hard question to ask and answer. The people who are enjoying this interview, we're older. Do you find that you have any issue connecting with today's young player? Because while you are not an old man by any measure, according to today's young player, you might have guys who don't even know you played, right, Penny? Do you run into guys who don't even know that you were a player?
I have not ran into guys yet that didn't know that I was a player because of the blessings of YouTube. And also, my sneakers are still relevant in today's game. So if they don't know me from basketball, they know me from the sneakers. So Nike's done a great job of that. So no, I haven't ran into that kid yet.
Penny,
honestly, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead, finish.
No, I was saying, I coached middle school, I coached AAU, and I coached high school. So I'm still kind of in that. I was in that area before I became a college coach. If I were to retire from the NBA and came right into college coaching, probably would have been a lot more difficult.
Penny, I got to be honest with you because I was proud of you right after you took the job. It's exactly what I would have done had I taken the job, but you got your son right into school quickly.
That's
on a
good
scholarship.
Work. That's good work.
Penny, I was proud of you.
That was good work, Penny. That was good work, Penny.
So I appreciate it.
Was that your first recruit? Okay, my son's coming with me. Was that part of the negotiation?
Man, that was the toughest recruiting job I had to do.
He didn't want to play for Dad. He didn't want to play for Dad. Penny, thanks for being on with us. Good catching up with you.
Yeah, no, I appreciate you guys. Thanks so much.
All right, buddy.
Dan Batard. Stugotz. When you have the hammer, you gotta use it.
This is the Dan Batard Show with the Stugotz on ESPN Radio.
The draft is tonight. Stugotz is very excited. Mike Ryan's very excited. We're going to update the polls. A texter writes in, I swear every time I hear Poppy in that commercial rejoin, I think he's saying time for some ass.
You don't get the show.
Chris Cody is furious with a Vikings receiver, Stephon Diggs, because why, Chris?
Because he stole the good stuff, Dan. I've been trying to, for 3 years now, I've been trying to get this show to draft cereals the day of the draft.
Why haven't we?
That's a great question.
I keep shooting it down because it's a bad idea.
So why are you mad at Diggs?
Because all of a sudden he went to Twitter, he's like, top 5 cereals, go. And then it was a big thing. Everyone's having a great time naming their favorite cereals.
Yeah, and Mike, did you hear some of the ideas we had today? I mean...
So much better.
All right, well, let's go ahead and do it then. Let's draft finally after 3 years of wait and Chris bothering everybody.
Who can forget the undraft?
Let's go ahead and do it. Number 5, the 5th-ranked cereal in the world history, according to Fats and Info. Chris Cody.
Cocoa Krispies.
Whoa.
The way I thought this would work.
$2, get out of here.
Okay.
Stugotz, let's update the polls at Le Batard Show.
Okay. Should today be Mel Kiper Jr. Day? At Le Batard Show on Twitter. 71% of the audience said yes, this should be a national holiday. And it should. It really is. Mel's Day.
Number 4, Peanut Butter Crunch.
Wow.
Update the polls. Get the bleep out of here before I punch you in the head.
Mark Rippin or Mark Rippian? 62% of the audience said Rippin.
Number 3, Raisin Bran, 2 scoops.
What?
Wow.
Raisin Bran. Get out of the room.
Love Raisin Bran. Does Stephen A. Smith have weightlifting shoulders? 65% of the audience said no.
Fruity Pebbles.
You can't.
Fruity Pebbles?
Raisin Bran number 3 is offensive. It's offensive.
Can...
No,
2 scoops.
More doesn't make it better. It makes it worse.
Can you put any stank on a hang-up without a landline? 81% of the audience said no.
Oh, for the love of God. Where is he?
Frosted Flakes, number 1.
Wow. I go Lucky Charms. Wow.
Terrible list.
Yeah.
Terrible. Just terrible.
Did everything unravel with Favre and the Jets after the Grey Dong? 93% of the audience said yes. Is the best place to find incompetence anywhere in the world beneath the Patriots of the AFC East? 90% of the audience said yes. Is that a good app? 62% of the audience said no.
The app, it allows you to pee.
It tells you when to pee.
That's your bladder.
Yes.
The app tells you when to pee during a movie.
It tells you the bad scenes in a movie. Give you a couple minutes to go relieve yourself. Is there anything worse than trying to be funny and not being funny? Anything in the world.
Anything.
Yes. 77% of the audience said no. Those are the polls. Draft day.
It is draft day.
Oh.
And I feel like we have covered the holy hell out of the draft today. We've covered it. We haven't covered it well.
No one covers it well. We just say stuff. Everyone's talking over each other. You throw out some picks. No one's really covering it well. Except for Mel.
We still have one more bit.
No, I don't want to do any more bits.
We have a pre-draft grade thing.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah, Billy's got pre-draft grades.
Pete, pre-draft mock draft grades. Kimes, B+, Mayock, C, Schrager, B, Prisco, C-, Sims, B, Iyer, B++, Cody, A+, Kuiper, A-, McShay, B+, King, B-, Mike Ryan, B.
Draft covered.
You can listen to the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz 10 to 1 Eastern on ESPN Radio, and you can watch on ESPN News.